Hello and welcome to Love is a Battlefield, the domestic violence podcast. My name is Tilly Moore and this is episode 41. We are now officially over the hill when it comes to episode numbers. Congratulations. Welcome. Today we are going to talk about the media. It's all the media vibes. There's a couple of stories in the media I want to touch on. So it's just me chatting, chin wagging, having a gas bag about a couple of things happening in the media here in Australia that I'm going to explain for anyone not in Australia because it's very important to explain it because people who aren't here don't know. So let's get into it. This is where you'd insert like a cute little sweeper. A sweeper's like the little noisy thing between segments where I used to have this dun dun ching thing and it was really bad. But like I really would want one, but I just don't have the skills. So anyway, what I wanted to tell you first of all today was some news about me. I finally got my official psychiatrist ADHD diagnosis. Not really relevant to DV, but it is because neurodivergent people we got the vulnerabilities and the naiveties that we just don't see them red flags. But I do see red flags. I see, mate, I can see the red flags. But obviously I couldn't back in the day. But the old mate that tried to kill me, I was actively looking for red flags and could see them pretty good then. But then there's other kind of vulnerabilities you have and like things where your brain is just more susceptible because you are stimulated by like certain things that, distract you and you're easily distracted and like I don't know, like it's just the way your brain works and stuff. And so we are apparently more likely to end up in crappy and abusive relationships. So anyway, there you go. Fun fact. I already knew because my psychologist and I had talked about it and I had like self-diagnosed and then the pennies just kept dropping and dropping and then the family was like, oh yeah, no, we have it too. And like it just builds from there. And so then you're like, no, but to know no and get official confirmation and get the formal assessment uh happened finally. And yeah, I mean, I thought I'd be like, oh my gosh, like it literally just happened, like literally on a Zoom. Um, but I'm like, nah, I already knew. Like if I had got it when I wanted to get it, when I first tried to make an appointment to get assessed, it was years ago. But then we had this psychiatrist drought and they all just started rejecting all referrals that wanted an assessment. And then it all changed. You had to pay thousands through private places. And I found a psychiatrist that worked in a GP far, 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 far away and had to go in person once and everything. And a bit of a runaround, but the cheapest option. Got to do the cheapest option. But yeah, it took time and waiting and had months between part A and part B of the assessment, which kind of seems like really ridiculous. Like to split one assessment into 2 months and months apart. Like, but anyway, so because I felt like he asked the same thing for the second time. But anyway, uh, maybe he's seeing if I inconsistent. I don't know. But yeah, done and dusted. But honestly, if this was years ago when I first got a referral and first tried to get, I would have been so emotional. Like, oh my gosh, it's real. It's real. But I have had years now of accepting it's real. I got to the point of if he says no, there's something wrong with him because I am ticking beyond boxes. Like it is beyond. Like so yeah, it's just like, oh yeah, okay. So anyway, moving right along. What I want to talk to you today about two things. The first thing was there's a man in Australia. I'm laughing because he's such a doodle head but he's a rapist. His name is Bruce Lehmann and he is a rapist. Bruce Lehmann is a rapist. Ah, defamation, no thanks. Ah, we can all say it now. So what, you're like, what is wrong with you? Let me explain. So Bruce Lehmann is a man, okay, I don't know much about him. All I know is he's a rapist. Literally, like I heard the story and everything. I didn't really hear the initial one because all I saw was that they were abusing and bullying his victim for reporting him to the police and victim blaming. And so I kind of tuned out early on. She copped it. People scrutinized her, they bullied her, they tore her to pieces because she went to the police because she was raped in our Parliament House it was in Queensland, Australia. So Parliament House is where all our politicians are. For anyone not in Australia, all our politicians have, where they meet and do all their little arguing and ego little games. That's in this place called Parliament House, and he took her there. They'd been out drinking or whatever, and he took her in because he was gonna, I don't know, it's like, come over, I'll show you my toys or something. I don't know what the point was, but it's still not her fault. Like, you women are like, oh no, you can't go into a building with a guy who's pretending to be your mate, who's like, oh yeah, come here and we'll drink or we'll do something, like, yeah, anyway, and it was proven. So, okay, I'm bouncing all over the place. Fuck. And I'm not editing. We're rolling. We'll just keep the tape rolling, guys. So he took her in there, and there's like footage of them doing the security check to get into Parliament House late at night, and they'd had drinks and whatever. And then he raped her and just dumped her in this room, and he left and then left her to like shakenly just like, what the fuck just happened, leave then. And she decided to report it because she obviously wanted to make a difference and not let this happen to other women, knowing that the power these politicians have. She didn't want that to happen to someone else, so she came forward and she copped it. So they went to court for a criminal trial, and what happened to my daughter, by our lovely justice system designed by white men to protect white men. The defense has a right to bully, intimidate, abuse, mock, verbally abuse, and tear to pieces every inch and aspect of a victim of rape's life. So they're allowed to do that in a court of law, and the judge just sits there going, cool. And they are literally getting traumatized. Like, they get yelled at. They get everything they've ever posted on social media, everything they've ever done, every friend they've ever had, every photo they've ever had online or anything. And every part of their life is to be scrutinized, picked apart, because they're trying to prove they're of ill character. Because you can't get raped and not be the best, most perfect human in the world, because your rapist will not go to jail because you're not the best, most perfect human in the world. So you have to prove you're the best, most perfect human in the world, that you are faultless, that you have never told a lie in your life. And if they can find a way to twist a story to convince the jury that you've ever told a lie in your life, they will tear you to pieces. Meanwhile, the rapist, their past criminal history, their past convictions and other charges with other victims, all off the table. Illegal to bring those up in front of the jury. His past, illegal. You cannot, he doesn't even have to take the stand, and they usually don't. The rapist has a right to not take the stand, so they never get bullied, abused, or yelled at, mocked, intimidated. Now, don't get me wrong. As survivors, we are more than happy to answer any question, but it's the bullying, the mocking, the yelling, the snapping, the bringing up this and, oh, but you wanted that. Oh, but you wanted this. Oh, you're lying. You're a liar. You're a liar. Like, the way they treat the person on the stand is absolutely disgusting. So anyway, she went through that, right? Then there was a hung jury or something, or the media. Right. So I don't even, now I'm actually regretting starting speaking without finding out the facts. This bitch be running her mouth without checking facts. Look, if anything, this podcast provides, it's that I provide a service where you feel better about yourself, because you think, fuck, at least I'm not her. At least I'm not like a loser. And at least if I was to turn a microphone on and press record, I'd probably freaking at least read an article and get my facts straight, because this is the part that's blank in my head. So, okay, correct me if I'm wrong, you're going to, because there's a lot of wrong. So what happened next was the jury was thrown out. It's called a hung jury, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. They had to throw that case out, throw that jury out, because I think it's because a presenter on one of our TV stations had said he raped her on television not in an interview, at an award show, when thanking for an award she did for an interview of the victim or something. She said the word rape, and She didn't say his name, but she implied it was about him or something. Like, mentioned rape women, but referring to her interview with the victim or something. She mentioned rape. And so I think that's why they threw the jury out, like, oh, it's corrupt now or something, or because they've seen this interview on TV or something like that, or something where she said something in the media and said the word rape, right? So someone from TV said the word rape on TV in relation to this, right? So bear with me. So I think that media thing, the fact that something was said in the media is why the jury got thrown out. But I could be wrong. I'm gonna go fuck this. I'm gonna go Google because I can't keep going with the story if I don't know because I was like, is it that or was it that they were hung and they couldn't decide if guilty or not guilty? Wait a minute. I could have edited this whole chunk out. Usually I would consider that, but I don't really edit much. I'm living like I should be in Byron Bay, being a hipster because I'm living such a edit-free life. I'm like, editing is for basic bitches. Who edits? Like, really? You cut like little things out? When I started, I would edit out breathing. Breathing annoyed me. And because I'd come from a radio background, I was like, dead air is the enemy. Kill all dead air. And now I'm like, you know what? Editing's for pussies. I'm just gonna be fucked and no one's gonna listen. Excuse my French. I hope you're not listening to this in the car with kids. If anyone ever is, email me and I'll stop swearing because I don't really swear much IRL. That means in real life. Anyway, so like if you're like not wanting me to swear, like easy peasy, lemon squeezy, like I'll just cut it out because it's not like it's not my heart isn't connected to it. It's not like, oh, my soul, I have to swear, but I just do now and then. So sorry about that. Apologies. So where was I? Oh yes. So I just Googled and I found out. So what happened was a juror, so someone in the jury went and did their own research during the trial. Now, when you're on a jury, you are told, do not Google this person's name. Do not Google the offender's name. Do not Google the victim's name. Do not Google anything to do with the case. If you are caught doing that, you can get in trouble. Everything get thrown. Like, it's bad. They are given very clear instructions. Now, he was naughty and he went and looked at it and he brought the document he found into the deliberation room. So, when they've finished the whole like trial-y thing and then the jury's deliberating and they're in a room and that's where they get free snacks. That's so exciting because the government finally gives you something for making you not go to work and yeah, and really messing up your life. You get like a cookie. And it's not even a cookie like in America. It's like an Australian cookie, which is like dust and bad dust, just crumbly dust of badness and water that tastes like moldy pipes. Slay. So anyway, with their water that tastes like moldy pipes and dusty cookies, they're in this room and he's like, oh my gosh, I was looking at the internet the other day and I found this. And that's literally like he is, or whatever, he said his opinion. And some chief justice called Lucy, I guess that's like the judge or whatever, found out and they had to discharge the entire jury. So that's when, yeah, if anything taints the jury, like if the jury finds out the piece of shit is a piece of shit, because white men in suits created a system where they don't want the jury to know that the man is a piece of shit or the man has other court cases going on with other victims or has like a pedophile has other pedophile victims. They don't want the jury to know that. They just, because in psychology, past behavior is an indicator of future behavior, but they don't want to know about psychology. They don't want to know about psychology so much so that they traumatize a victim. They give a victim PTSD. If they didn't have PTSD before they walked into the courtroom, oh, they do when they walk out. And I can guarantee you, women who've been through that, my daughter, me, like, you will never report a sexual assault again because you were like, I will not go through that. It is so traumatizing what they do to you in there. The whole process is so demeaning. You are basically punished for coming forward. The system is designed to punish women for reporting the crimes and taking that far, like allowing, for reporting the crime. And then they just say, oh, but that's a system. Oh, but that's a system. And it's like, yeah, and who designed the system, guys? White men in suits. For what? All I would ask going forward was that the system is designed with trauma informed psychologists like a psychologist assisting the system to be trauma informed, as in, yes, there should be like a person sitting there advocating with regards to the witness, and when things get a little too much, they have a way of indicating to the judge this is outside the scope of trauma and trauma informed questioning, and then it's up to the judge if they intervene or not, or something like that, like some system, like a change, because judges just sit there and allow children and women to be torn to pieces. My child was torn to pieces. The evidence in the case was overwhelming. The person was done for already, but they still took delight in tearing her to pieces. My GP knows some barristers, and she says, you know, the people who defend these types, and she says that, yeah, the morals of most of the ones she knows, she says they snort coke and go and have sex with prostitutes behind their wife's back, and they earn $15,000 every day. And then they have the audacity to like call me in as a witness and not give me any money for my time off work or anything. Like, you just like, oh, 15,000 a day. Anyway, so this is what Britney, the victim's name is Britney Higgins. She went through. She went through that. And then they threw out the jury because one of the jurors had the audacity to break the rules. Now, it might have been a woman though, because we would be fighting the good fight. Like if the jury, like I can imagine I would. Like if I was with the jury and they were all like men going, nah, she's lying, you didn't do it, I'd be like, mate, I will not back down. We are going to be hung AF. Like that, like if the evidence, because we've now seen the evidence that was there. So much evidence. Like this guy was done for. But, and maybe they thought, oh, I'll just look at something. And then I'll just tell them, oh, but I saw an article the other day that said he'd done that. And like that second you say that, and they find out, someone tittle-tattled, because it's a closed room for the jury only, but they have people in there. They go, okay, you're documenting, you're doing this or whatever. I don't know, like someone would have tattled and told. And it's like, mate, because that person told the like judge that that person shared that, it's like they had to throw out the whole court trial, the whole trial, and start again. Get stuffed. Get actually stuffed like a Christmas turkey. So that's what happened. So then they told this girl who had just gone through that, oh, guess what? Someone stuffed up and we caught them, and we're going to do the whole trial again, and you're going to get cross-examined again. And she not only had gone through that, she'd also gone through the media. Like, I remember they were chasing her around with microphones saying, did you liar? And I don't know, like just bullying, abuse, like all over the internet. Men are just attacking her, which only proves the problem in Australia and the world, with men hating women, with misogyny anyway, when they treat someone who said they got raped. But because she'd had alcohol, people, like she'd had some drinks, people said, well, you can't get raped then. If you've had alcohol, you can't get raped. So having a couple of drinks is consent. Oh, if you went into Parliament House with him, that means you said you wanted to have sex. What? What point did she take her knickers off, jump her on a bed? There were no beds. It's Parliament House. It's a place of work. But jump somewhere and say, "Give it to me, big boy." No. But apparently, the old patriarchy system says it's a woman's fault. You cannot have a touch of alcohol. You cannot ever have lied in your life. You cannot go to the man's house or place of employment. I mean, she was going to his place of employment. I mean, obviously they're just having fun. You know, when you're with your mate, you've been drinking, and then one of the people's like, oh, let's keep drinking. Oh, can you give me a tour of Parliament House? Or can you show me like this? Oh, yeah, no, I'll show you. Yeah, let's go. No, we can go after hours. No, it'll be fun. Come on, I'll show you. I'd go. I'm gullible as all shit. I don't, because we're raised, men are fine. Like, you're safe. Men are fine. But then we're also raised, keep safe, don't do this, don't do that, don't do that. As in, if something happens, it's on you. But men are safe. You can go anywhere with men. What are you talking about? We're safe. We're fine. Oh, but you have to put these things into place. You don't do any of these things. Do not ever have one drink of alcohol. Do not do anything. Because if something happens, it's on you. How about we just scrap that and tell girls from the start, hey, number one predator for women is men. And these are some things you can do to keep safe, but we also have to teach boys from now on, because we didn't before, don't rape women, don't hit women, don't treat women like crap. Love women. Women are people. Women are not a rib. We're not here to serve. Apparently, that went over the heads of quite a few people. But we're changing things. So what happened then? What happened then? The poor girl. So she was beside herself. And she said, I can't do it. I can't go through that again. One, the media who would chase her before and after every day of this court thing, and the abuse she was copying online everywhere, and having to face the abuse face eye to eye, and with her perpetrator there, and from his defense barrister abusing her again and getting off on it because they're just sick fucks. Anyway, and I'm going to say that because it's freaking true. If you you can have other jobs. You can have other jobs. Oh no, I can't. It's the justice system. We have to be just and fair. You have been gaslit and brainwashed, but that it's the system. It's the system. My daughter's what's her face? Female prosecuting barrister, so works for the government prosecuting pedophile, defended the system, but it's the system. It's the system. It's the way we've always done it. Yeah, it's the system. Who made the system? What was the point of the system? We can change it. But they're just so taught in law school, no, this is the system. We respect the system. It is just and fair and works. And they just repeat that over and over. And it's not just. It's not fair. And it actually doesn't work. If anything, this will show that. So I'm going to keep the story going. So next. So Britney Higgins, the victim, made a decision not to continue and not to do it again. She just said, I'll kill myself. I feel suicidal at the thought of that. That is too much. There's only so much one person can bear. I can't go through that again. With the chance that, he might get off as well. Go through all that again for what? She put it out there. She gave her best. And it didn't work. She had nothing left. This poor girl. You should have seen the media chasing her around and shouting questions at. It was bullshit the way she was treated. Side note, apparently bullshit is an Australian only kind of swear word, I think. There's someone at my work who is not from Australia, who's only been here so many years, and we taught them bullshit. And they're so cute the way they say it. When we've just grown up with using bullshit, but you can just imagine coming to some other country and someone says, oh yeah, bullshit. And you go, what's that mean? And you say, oh, it means it's not good and you're frustrated with it or it's crap. And so they go, bullshit. Anyway, side note there. 24 hours has actually passed since I last said bullshit about that because I had to run and now this is late, but you get what you pay for. $0, slay. So what happened after that, after she was harassed by the media, and yeah, they said, we're going to do the trial again, take the stand again, start at the start. So basically they put a whole new jury in, so they're all fresh. So the lawyers have to do, well, they're barristers, they're prosecuting barrister and the defense barrister, they have to do their whole case again, whole fresh jury, all from the start, opening statements, closing statements, cross-examining the witnesses. She has to take the stand again from the start. It's not added on. She has to do it all again, go through that whole trial again. And she just said, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. I'd kill myself. I would feel suicidal. That is too much. Everyone has a limit, and that's beyond the limit for what I can do. So they went, okay, you don't have to, we can't force you, but therefore, because you are the main witness, we have to throw the trial out. So they threw the trial out. So he wasn't guilty or innocent. He wasn't found anything because the trial just was thrown out. So he went, I'm innocent. I wasn't proven guilty in a court of law, like a narcissist, like all your ex-boyfriends, or maybe current, hopefully not, but we've all been there. So, like a good narcissist, like a good little that he is, like you don't even know this guy. Like if you're from another country, you won't even know this guy. Bruce Lehmann is his name, Bruce. Now Lehmann, I think it's Lerhmann, and we're just getting his name out there as like the classic Aussie white male rapist who is middle to high socioeconomic status and just gets away with stuff and is entitled and just arrogant and just there are so many. I don't stuff it white. I'm sure that there are definitely other cultures like TV against women. Violence against women is an issue everywhere in every culture. But in Australia, we have these white men who've just got that white male privilege, and they just really push that white male privilege over certain lines. Now, I'm sure there are men of all other colors, shapes, sizes, everything that rape women. Sorry if that just sounded weird. My microphone just kept disconnecting. I've used a different plug thing. Poor people problems. Cause he lives. So yeah. So there's they're all cultures, all shapes, sizes, colors, everything. Men are the issue, but there's just this other side culture in Australia of these white men who have that white male privilege, and it's just this extra layer of entitlement and arrogance. They were kind of the guys who'd wear pointy shoes to the clubs in the early 2000s. And went to the all boys private schools, that kind of guy. They're kind of rich, and they've just been raised in this culture that they are king, that women are here to provide services and they are entitled to women. And so they've been raised in this culture. So that's this other kind of side culture. Anyway, so he's one of those boys. Yeah. And so he went around going, I got away with it. I was not proven guilty in a court of law. And that journalist said that thing. Okay. Well, now that I'm innocent according to the law, mm-hmm, you weren't proven either way, mate. Like it was thrown out. Like it's still, like you probably were going to get guilty in that trial. Let's be real. But, the justice system was designed by those exact white men and it hasn't changed. Nothing's changed. It was designed by those men to protect those men and to deter women from coming forward. And that's why they allow the woman to, and the children, in my daughter's case, to be abused and traumatized on the stand to make them pay. Like, if you want this white man to go to prison, you must pay. You must pay the price. Even, look at Taylor Swift when she had that man that grabbed her butt, and it's literally on film. Like, you can't see the specific detail of where his fingers are, but you can see like where his hand is, and it's caught on camera, and she just sued him for $1 because it had to be an amount when he tried to sue her for defamation. Like these creepy fucking guilty creeps are always suing their victims for defamation. Hello, Johnny Depp. Like, don't even come for me if you are siding with Johnny Depp. It just means you don't understand what it's like to go through DV, what reactive abuse is like. What I remember when I first brought this up in like one of my first episodes, I was like, please don't hate me. Now I'm like, no, educate yourselves. It's hard though if you haven't dealt with a narcissist or know about narcissists or gone through narcissistic abuse. You can't understand how evil, sinister, and planned and calculated Johnny Depp is. And I understand that for you. But to go out and destroy his victim, but she did that. She did reactive abuse. But the things he did were just overlooked. Oh my God, I'm not even going to go there. But that's what they do. They manipulate everyone around the victim and the whole world to believe that their victim is crazy and psycho and bad. And they're the scared man who can't defend himself against the big, scary lady with all the weapons coming at him. So, anyway, so in typical guilty man star. Let's just say guilty men do defamation trials against women. Literally, literally, because a narcissist, as we've discussed in the past, a narcissist does a smear campaign, right? Like Johnny Depp and everyone. And a narcissist must destroy their victim, especially if their victim has spoken or told anyone about it. They must come for you and destroy you, because a narcissist's worst nightmare is being exposed. So if you get away from your narcissist, they do the smear campaign. They want to destroy you. They have this angst against you. So if they can find a way to destroy you legally and use the justice system and abuse the justice system and use that as a weapon against you, they will. The man who tried to kill me, he tried to use the justice system to attack me. They try everything. They are relentless. They need to just take some drugs that zonk. They need antipsychotics, because they have too much energy and time to waste on attacking women for no reason. Oh, they'll make up reasons. And you'll believe it. Most society will believe it. But those of us who've been there, those of us who've looked in the eyes of a narcissist doing their full narcissist attack, completely different to how they present to their family, friends, and colleagues and everyone on the outside, those of us who stood there looking them in the eye while they're attacking us and while they're saying all this stuff and going, no one will ever believe you. Ugh. We know and we see it a mile away, and that we don't hate people who don't see it, but we just don't like the fact that they then attack the victims and believe these horrible people. So anyway, if a man does a defamation case against a woman, I'm just like, yeah, that man's guilty of something. What did he do? Because the man knows he's guilty. And so an extra defense against ever being caught out guilty is if he can attack his victim legally and be found, that his victim or someone can be found guilty of hurting him. If he can look like the victim in a court of law, that will make him always look like the victim. They are desperate to be the victim. One, so that's why they do defamation. Two, if you got away from them, they want to destroy you. So they will try anything. So with my case, he tried to get a domestic violence order against me, even though the police got one on him. He tried to get one against me because that would have given him power then to be the victim. He could have called the police at any time, said, oh, she's just been at my house, and threatened me, even though I hadn't. And he could have made up things and got me dragged through court and charged. And, there's a saying in Australia, throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. What a stupid saying. Gosh, we were talking about this at work yesterday. We have the stupidest sayings, like not stupid, but ridiculous. And we just grow up with them and just take them for granted. So throw shit at a wall and see what sticks means give it a crack. Hey, if it works, good. I've destroyed her and I have won and I have now the victim. If it doesn't work, yeah. So with the DV thing, if he wasn't successful in getting the DV order, and he wasn't, yeah, it's like, oh, and that's a whole other story. Oh, that's a whole other manipulation thing. But if he did get it, oh, and then if he lied and said, oh, she did this and she did that, and then I had to go and face charges, like then, because if you have an order against you and then he says you did something and the police believe him, you get an actual criminal charge. And so he would have just made up whatever. I know for a fact, because he actually tried doing this once and I'd figured out he would do it before he did it. And then he actually did it. What am I saying? It's not making sense. Driving my car, he pulls out quickly in front of you, like dives in front of you in the traffic off the road, just comes and cuts in, and then films you holding his camera, his phone in his hand, and says, I actually seen this footage of him doing this. Look, she's following me again. She's stalking me. She's always following me. Oh, I wish she wouldn't. I just don't like it. I just don't feel good about it. She's following me again. Like, he made one of those. I was trying to get to work and he cut, like, illegally drove up the wrong side of the road, cut in front of me, and then filmed that. And I got off the road as soon as I could, safely, but he did it for like a few seconds. Or he did it in my work car park. Oh my gosh. And so they will get whatever evidence they can. He was trying, but he didn't get the order. See, if he had an order, he would have submitted that straight away and said, look, and then he would have got a charge on me and I would have had criminal history. Because, and then he's my victim, and legally and documented in the law, I am his perpetrator. So you, please, if you are with a narcissist, watch out. I don't know how like smart they all are quite smart, but like, not all of them, but just know how calculated they can be, because there are so many points in a relationship of narcissistic abuse where your mind just is blown. You're like, I cannot believe that you would do this to me. This is beyond, like, I get trying to get away with, like, you want to hit women because you get off on it, you get a bit of a neurochemical rush in your head, like you're addicted to it or something. I get that. And then you want to get away with it, so you do things to cover it up. But then there's these evil, sinister things where they're calculated to just tear you down. And it's like, how could you have ever said you liked me? And that is the lie. All the lies are the love, the likes, the being like a nice person. That's all the lie. This person is evil and he wants to play with you like a cat that plays with a dead mouse or something. Like, don't laugh, but so that attempt was made on me. And then he would have taken it all the way. He would have just tried to frame me for anything. And the fact that he didn't get the order, like the domestic violence order, I obviously had one. The police insisted. I was like, please don't, because he'll try and get a revenge one. He'll try and revenge me and everything like that. But they were like, no, you need this. Like, this man is dangerous. So, and he ended up, what he did. So, they will try anything, and using the legal system is part of oh my, I just went part of my throat just went. We are not moving anymore. Oh, today is the first day I've started ADHD medication, non-stimulant. Yeah, so no fun here. I'm not high. He started me on the non-stimulant, and that's good because I'm not young. I think if you're young, like, maybe those are okay, but my old crusty brain probably couldn't handle stimulants. I don't know. I couldn't understand what he was saying because it was on some dodgy Zoom thing. And but starting on a non-stimulant's probably good because, being on stimulants, I don't know, for me, I don't sleep at the best of times, but this one's meant to interrupt your sleep anyway. Like, you don't get the you're meant to be insomniac, but you still don't get the therapeutic effect. This one is very oh, did I tell you what it's called? Like, my memory, I don't know. Stratera. It's very, like, it has so many side effects, and I think like 1 in 10 it works really well for, and everyone else just gives up because of all the side effects. So you just got to give it a crack. I think maybe giving the non-stimulant one a crack for a while, like at first, give that any non-stimulant versions a crack first, and then looking at the stimulants. Maybe at my age, that's a good thing. I don't know. We'll see. Can medication make me normal? Give it a crack. But if a girl is ADHD or a little bit funny, a little bit weird, a little bit abnormal, does she deserve to be abused, lied about, and tortured and murdered? No. No women deserve that. No one deserves that, except for pedophiles and wife bashers. Anyway, let's just like hop on top of those 17 tangents. Hope this medication kicks in. Apparently, it takes 2 weeks or something. And get back to the Bruce Lehmann case that I was talking about. So, today was just going to be about media things because there's another thing in the Australian media, but I've just realised how long it's going for. So today's just going to be about Bruce Lehmann. Don't you love how I don't edit now? Like, I just go with the flow. Like, you get to see what a podcast sounds like with no editing, because I listen to a podcast that's very heavily edited, and the person who says it, I'd love to tell you like what it's called and talk about it, but I don't know. I just don't know what the is that a is that a faux pas? Do you know the saying faux pas? Anyway, but yeah, if you want to know what their podcast sounds like, because I can tell when they've cut huge chunks out of theirs, and theirs is a professional, very highly paid one. And mine has just gone from me cutting out heaps of stuff at the start to just running my mouth, and it's like a freaking TikTok live. It's just like, whatever, mate, whatever, easy breezy. What's that saying? Something, something, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All right. So Bruce Lehmann. So yeah, he's all cocky and so he decides to sue this TV channel and this specific host on this TV channel who used the word rape at a awards thing when she was referring to the interview she had with his victim. And he went, ha, found an in. I will now not prove because it's not the truth, but I will now do this fake thing to imply that I'm the victim and I'm going to be the victim in a court of law and I'm going to get a big payout and everyone's going to feel sorry for me. And what can people say? I mean, a court never proved me guilty. So according to the courts, I never raped anyone. I'm innocent. So because I was not found guilty in a court of law, I can go for defamation now. I can sue everyone for defamation. So he found an in with a lawyer and he took this big case to the courts and it was live on YouTube. You could watch it. It was just like America. I don't know. Why is defamation cases live? I don't know. Someone knows. I don't care. I'm not going to look into it. Who can be bothered? So, yeah, it was live. You could see the whole case and you could access all the case files online. And there was this amazing person on YouTube, Georgia. She broadcasted like the whole thing on her TikTok, like talked about it, showed some documents, showed all these text message screenshots. She brought us all the news. She did the work for us. And then okay, so what happened? This trial went for ages. She had to take the stand, the victim, Britney. She had to take the stand again, but it was different. It wasn't in a criminal trial, they will destroy you. This one, yeah, they still may ask questions, but it's not as bad. But she still got subpoenaed and legally had to go because what this judge had to do, so there's no jury in this one, the judge has to make the judgment call whether he has been defamed or not. And to do so, the judge had to find out if he raped her or not. So it's a civil trial, so it's not criminal. So no one can go to jail, but people can owe people money kind of thing at the end of it because he's suing for like millions or whatever. So the judge had to, and I've seen the evidence, obviously, thanks to Georgia. I've seen like all the evidence, and gosh, it was incriminating. All these like screenshots and so much stuff that just, so much against him. So much evidence that made him just, yeah, so he did it. And so the judge had to go through basically what the criminal trial would have done. He had to find all the information, look at it all, and figure out, did he rape her? Because if he did, it wasn't defamation. If he didn't, it was defamation. So he had to do like a mini, like, not mini, because he had to go through everything, figure out if he raped her or not. And it went for ages and it got extended and so many submissions of evidence and so many witnesses took the stand. And in the end, he lost. He did not defame her. And the judge's comments, everyone keep listening right now because this is amazing. The judge's comments were gold. Anyone in Australia has probably already heard it. But as you know, he had the criminal trial, got away with it just because a jury member broke the rule. Like, how lucky is he? And he's probably cocky, narcissist. He'd be like, oh, I wasn't going to get done anyway, narcissist. But how lucky he got away with it and then came to try and get money for defamation. So the judge said, you'd got away with, no, you'd escaped. Okay, now I forget the quote. You'd escaped something with your life, but your problem was that you came back for your hat. Like, you got away with something, but you wanted more. You got greedy and you came back. And now all of Australia knows. And he said, Bruce Lehmann did rape Britney Higgins. I have found this to be true. So now in Georgia and everyone's comments who talks about this, the incels being men who hate women and love violence against women and they try and silence women when they talk about being raped or murdered, and they try and gaslight everyone to believe that women are lying and everything. So those kind of men are in the comments and they're just saying, oh my gosh, this med has kicked in. The med just kicked in. Like, I feel so. This is the first day I've ever taken it. I wanted to start yesterday, but I was at work and I didn't want anything weird to happen at work. I've just suddenly felt like so spacey. This is weird that I happen to be recording the day my very first time ever taking ADHD medication kicks in. I'm like, now I feel like, is this a neurotypical? I'm like, I feel dopey. So anyway, I had to stop there because my dog barked and my brain went. Uh, so the judge's comments were he raped her, and now in the media, everyone can say Bruce Lehmann is a rapist. Before he was an alleged rapist, now he is a rapist because it has been proven in a court of law that he raped her. And so all the men are saying, well, where's the evidence? Show me the, you know what they say? These are TikTok comments where you can't, share a picture or a screenshot or anything. But they lie. Men just, when they're trying to gaslight women, they just lie. It's that whole throw the shit at the wall and see what sticks. Give it a crack. She'll believe something. Just lie. Women always believe our shit. Just lie. So they're like, show me the evidence. Show me the evidence where he raped her. Show me. I don't believe it. And so I was like, you can actually access all the court documents and all the evidence documents online. And then they come back with, no, show me the evidence. I told you can access it. So you didn't go and look at it. And now you're just, so they're just like circle talk, arguing. And some are saying, I don't believe that judge should be fired. What? It's a judge. And when we saw, like I tuned into the live, they went over everything with a fine tooth comb and the evidence. You saw the judge at one point, there were these texts or something that just really were pretty out there, Bruce. And the judge is just sighing this big sigh, like, oh my gosh, like this guy. I think he said something at one point. Like it was so full on, so much evidence. It was ridiculous. And you're just like, oh, how much evidence can there be? Like there's a lot of emails and texts, and conversations that he'd had after and yeah, around it. There was so much, there was so much stuff and stuff that proved he lied also, and like about so many things. Bruce, the rapist, he just lied and lied and lied and lied and lied, and the judge proved all these lies, but he definitely proved he raped her. And everyone, and all the incels are just, and the misogynists and the internalized misogynist women, they're all saying, well, he's not in prison, so obviously he's innocent. Like, just tell me you don't understand the justice system. Like, the fact that he's not in prison is just a sign that in every freaking country, we have a major issue with rapists being free. It just shows how many women report rape and their rapists go free, and how many situations where these men are free and the fact that he was free and then in a civil trial was proven as a rapist just goes to show how many women are let down by the criminal justice system. And people could go, oh, well, she wouldn't do it again. She should have done it again. They destroy you in there. And that is on purpose. The system is designed so Britney wouldn't take the stand again. It's designed to punish and destroy and traumatize women. So the system is why she couldn't come back again. Because you pay with trauma. Like, the trauma my daughter has from going through the justice system is beyond. It was beyond the trauma of the initial rape, which is beyond it. I won't go into detail. Absolutely, like the worst thing you can, like, beyond. I try just to sort of skid around that subject because I don't know how much I've told you, but whatever. I try not to talk too much about that. But I kind of like mention it and then I'm like, have I even told them it happened? Probably not. But the system is designed so that Britney couldn't come back and do it again because it's disgusting the way they treat victims. And you're an alleged victim. You could be, women could be lying. That's men's defense. They always say, yeah, but like 90% of women lie. Like, the justice system is fucked. You cannot lie. You cannot get a charge if you lie. No, no. However, like a whiny little rat can get a little defamation case. Anyway, so this was a win for women and we're celebrating. And of course, the incels are trying to gaslight us in the comments. Well, he's not in jail. Well, it's not a criminal thing. Well, he wasn't found guilty in the first one. There was someone who commented, oh, well, the judge in the first trial didn't think he did it. What? A criminal trial, the jury makes their decision. The judge is just there to make sure everyone's abiding by the law and with their respective roles in the courtroom. They're overseeing the court. The jury makes the decision. The jury fucked up and they had to throw the trial out. No, the judge probably sat there going, this guy fucking did it. But the procedure, which was designed by white men in suits, like 100 or 200 something years ago, or whenever, or maybe longer because we came from England. So yeah, great time. So Bruce Lehmann is a rapist, and this episode has been, oh my gosh, I'm spacing out. I don't want to be any dopier than, like, I am ADHD, my brain is fast, but I am still dopey, if that makes sense. So like I'm still like slow on the uptake. Like very, very fast brain, but very gullible, naive, and just someone will tell a joke and then 30 seconds later I laugh because I finally got it. So slowing brain down is something I definitely want, but then being like, hey, I don't know would be interesting. Okay, I'm going to stop talking because I'm just talking crap. So in conclusion, Bruce Lehmann's a rapist and all the women are celebrating. All the incels are trying to gaslight everyone that no, it doesn't count. It's just a civil trial. It counts. Like a judge in a court of law, according to legal standard, in a system designed by white men in suits to protect white men in suits, found he is a rapist and he lost money. He had to pay all the legal fees. So he'd probably be like bankrupt or in debt or something now. And things aren't good. But I think just it's not all about Bruce. It's about so much more. It's about so many women who've been there, who've been through sexual assault. Like most of us are. We all have. Most of us have. A lot of us, like before I even understood feminism, I thought I hadn't ever been. Well, no, I actually knew I had. But some, don't understand. Like when men are just grabbing your ass and grabbing your bits and grabbing everything, and as you walk by and everything, and there are so many instances of sexual assault that women who don't believe other women have actually encountered themselves, but they minimize it because they've been taught that. And it's not till they open their eyes and go, that was actually wrong. Yeah, I did actually like that. So we'll all get there in our own time. But this case isn't about Bruce. It's more about the society and showing how many men can get away with rape, how men with money can get away with rape, how white privileged men can get away with rape, how nearly impossible it is for a woman to prove she's been raped. Now, I don't want to touch on my daughter's case, but CCTV and large volumes of DNA, that's huge. That was so huge, like beyond, like it's proven. But you still have to go through the process where she gets destroyed by the barrister because women must be punished. If you want a man to go to jail for what he did to you, well, we can't just let that happen. We can't just ask you questions on the stand. We have to verbally abuse you, emotionally abuse you, psychologically abuse you, and leave you traumatized. Oh, we'll put him in jail then, but you know, you have to pay. Pay the price. So that's it. So, yay. So glad. I mean, the judge couldn't have an opinion either way. The judge had to go off evidence. And the sad thing is, how do you prove you've been raped? Luckily, this guy shot himself in the foot with all this other evidence around the time. But, for a lot of narcissists, they cross their T's, dot their I's, and are very must protect number one. So if your narcissist ever threatens to kill themselves, it's usually a contradiction because they are very protect number one. Number one comes first. That's themselves, by the way. So they'll do anything and everything in their power to protect themselves. And so, and it's this game. And so that's just another one of their tools, the fake, I'm going to kill myself thing. But this this whole thing has shown how messed up the justice system is and how that man should be sitting in jail right now. And the only reason we all can say he's a rapist is because he went for the defamation case. If he stayed quiet, he would have just been this innocent guy. And he had all this media stuff booked, or I don't know, he had some things booked, like, and he was being held up as an upstanding citizen because his trial got kicked out. But now, because he decided to go forward with the defamation case, he's now outed as a rapist, but he'll not spend one day in jail. So it's pretty messed up. All it does is show us that, yep, if you get raped, it's not good, and men can do all this little bullshit stuff to get away with it. But in this case, I'm glad he didn't, and I'm glad Britney's having her day of everyone getting it. And there's so many people in the comments still not believing the judge, like they're just, but slowly society's going to come around and they're going to get it. And hopefully future generations of men will be raised differently and they won't feel entitled to rape women. Okay, so that's the end of today. One, sorry for when my brain started zonking out. Two, I wonder if I'll sound different if I keep taking these things in the future. I wonder if I'll be like boring. But I wonder if I'll stay on subject. Maybe I'll be better to listen to and more interesting. Who knows? And three, men who rape women can get fucked. Not in a good way. The end. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.